When Larry was a youngster and he was a paper boy in San Francisco, it was World War II, and he could remember that the camaraderie and the feeling that people had for each other was good. Everybody seemed to like each other and work together, and that's kind of what happened after 9/11. We were all together. Everybody was, you know, helping one another, and that he didn't want people to forget again. The connections that he had, that we got to meet all these people, we got to pick out any, you know, the piece of steel that we wanted. He naturally picked the biggest one there was, you know. We got it out, and we had a friend with a trucking company, and we were able to get him to move it and store it at his place till we could find a train heavy enough to handle that. And then it was so heavy that what they had to do was to weld the steel to the side of the train so that when they went around a corner they couldn't tip it around.
Well, the next piece coming off of this railroad car is a piece of metal that goes between those great big thick I-beams and creates the floor sections. You'll see some knobs on it. Those knobs are usually standing in a vertical position. This piece here weighs 2,000 pounds a lineal foot. When it was together with the other piece on the other truck, it weighed over 90,000 pounds. But the ramp would only hold 65,000 pounds, so we had to cut it in two. Interesting thing, the people from Herrick Steel in Stockton have written their names all over these beams, these support beams. They're only on there on a temporary basis, but I think that we will display it during the fair. Back in New York, people were writing their names all over everything. Two large brown pieces of material, those are the replicas of the towers that we're going to put some kind of reflective material on, maybe artwork, we're not totally sure, but they'll be the center part of the monument.
It's a memorial to the people that died 9/11, people in the building, firemen, police, doing this as a tribute to them. Good. Oh, they lucked out, huh? Then we got two beams from the trade centers themselves. Those were all the floor beams connected. These tore the bolts right out of the connection. There was a lot of force. By the time that building got down to the 34th floor, that's where these beams came from. I mean, there was a lot of rubble and scrap coming down. Coming down.
Three, two, one.
The Fair has really given us a great amount of cooperation, the carpenters and all the hands. They put these beautiful poles up here. The steel is all in place. Eric Steele was so fantastic with it.
It just kind of grew. Like we did the steel, and then we found out about the ball in Germany. He was playing golf one day while we were doing all this. They had a carillon bell tower there, and he thought, oh, I want to get one of those. We've been working on this monument for about a year and a half, and I have to tell you, there were times when I thought, what in the world are we doing? Seeing it all come together today, I know how important it has been. We have a lot more to do here.
And never ever forget all that those people went through, the people who perished, the people who worked to save them, and of course gave their own lives. And then to me, the other thing that we really need to do is to have appreciation for the people today who are in emergency response, our firefighters, our sheriffs, our police, because these are the type of people who, when called into action, gave their lives.
The Herrick Steel bill turned out being $110,000. And they didn't send me a bill, they sent me a thank you. Thanks to my pal Tim Albiani and his father Gil. We got the cement poured, the concrete cost $53,000, and they said, just thank you for letting us work on this. I brought the idea of this ball to the Fair Board, and the Fair Board paid for it.
I was there for 16 days, and there are 3 words I would like you to think upon. Remember, reflect, and rebuild.
When the second plane hit the second tower, I was on call to respond for the American Red Cross, and my pager went off. We were praying over everything. The officers, the firefighters, the metal workers, they were all asking for prayer. We needed strength. Everybody would come up to their chap and just say, will you pray, will you pray? So we were praying for beams too. And I remember putting my hand on it, and that beam had a number on it, and it was still warm to the touch. I don't know where you're going, and I don't know what you did, beam, to keep that tower up, but all those people, you know, may they rest in peace. Coming to the dedication actually at Cal Expo and seeing that beam, it touched my heart. I followed it, or it followed me, but I can tell my grandchildren, and have many times, this beam, I was at New York with it.
We were in New York that summer, and Alan had a trial here in Sacramento, so he was flying back for this. Alan was supposed to be flying on September 10th, but that was our wedding anniversary. So he flew on the 11th. Last week I received in the mail a copy of a newspaper article about this memorial. The article spoke about a man named Larry Davis, a member of the State Fair Board, and the man behind this plaza. As I read it, I was moved to tears, and I thought to myself, I would love to meet this man and thank him in person for doing this. A few days ago, I got a phone call asking me if I would speak at this, and I leapt at the opportunity, forgetting for a moment that public speaking is my least favorite thing to do. So the reason I'm here today is I wanted to thank Larry and all the men and women who created this beautiful memorial plaza to honor my husband Alan Bevan and all of the heroes of September 11th. What I can say to you is that all the love and the prayers and the support that you as Californians and that the world community has showered upon us has made a huge difference in our lives.
This is hard. I was honored and humbled when asked to design this memorial some 18 months ago. The question has been asked, why me, and where did I get the inspiration for this? There have been some dates in my life I will never forget. My marriage, the birth of my 3 kids, but I'll never forget sitting up in bed early September 11th. Then one day, my dear friend and client, Larry Davis, called and asked if I would be interested in helping him design his project of passion. That's what we've always called it, Larry's project of passion. He told me the stories of the police and the firemen and their heroic acts, the steel workers and their rescue personnel, and how their acts of courage moved him, and now me. He shared about the men and women of the Pentagon and the 40 heroes of Flight 93, and I thought, wow, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. 18 months later, hundreds of drawings and thousands of hours, this is where we are today.
That these dead should not have died in vain.
The last 3 years of his life, that's all he did was that's all he thought about was the memorial. That was his legacy. Getting enough money to do the things, because he had plenty of ideas of things to do. And after he died, I built the Pentagon Memorial and the Flight 93, the infinity fountain there. And he had those ideas to do that, but I'm sure his would have been a lot more lavish than what I did. I think they're really beautiful, and I think he'd be happy.
I think it's really important we have memorials for us to be able to have a point of contact. This is a sacred place. It has on that beautiful ball every name of every person that perished that day.
He did not want people to forget, and he wanted people to have a place where they could come. And California is a long way from New York.
To have California take the time, the place, a location for us to come and grieve, we are united and we touch New York here, because our people in New York, we're family too, America family.
And hopeful people will be leaving here with thoughts that are a little different than what they came here with.